Well, first of all, welcome to the conference, of course. I'm very pleased to be able to announce my first squad as England manager, and a very important one, of course, because it's a squad that's going to be going to the European Championships. I won't deny that it's not been an easy squad to put together, and it's taken a lot of thought and occupied a lot of my thinking time, but I'm pleased with the result. I'm pleased with the squad that I've eventually arrived at. I think it's a well-balanced squad. I think it's a squad which does take into account the fact that a lot of the players in the squad are players who have helped qualify England for this tournament and therefore deserve a chance to play in the final tournament. But I've also added, as you've seen, one or two players perhaps who are new to the squad and who may turn out to be very important players for me going forward. I'm also pleased to announce that Steven Gerrard will captain the team. In my opinion, he's the man who merits this award, if you like, or this distinction. I know him, of course, as a player. I know him as a person. I know how committed he is to the England cause, and he was delighted last night when I told him of my decision, and I shall be counting on him, of course, to help me as much as he possibly can to build the type of team unity and the type of environment that I think is going to be very necessary for us to thrive in an important tournament.
Could I just start by asking you about Rio Ferdinand and the reasons behind his omission, please?
Well, it's purely a footballing decision. I mean, Rio's a man that I both respect as a player and as a person. I don't know him well personally, but of course, like everyone in the room, I've seen enough of him over the years to realise what a fine football player he is and what a good person he is. But I had to make a footballing decision. I had to decide on the basis, basically, of what I've seen in recent months, and in particular influenced also to some extent by the fact that Rio hasn't played so much since the World Cup and has only played once for England in the last year. And on a footballing basis, I wanted people like Jones in the squad because he helps balance out for me at right back in the absence of Kyle Walker. So it's purely a footballing decision, and it was a hard phone call to make, of course, because you hate to disappoint people, but I can only hope that Rio can accept my decision and understand that it is based purely on football and nothing else. My decision with John Terry was once again based purely on footballing matters. I was given a free hand as to the squad I picked. I realised that when I selected him there would be people who would raise their eyebrows, but that's the decision that I've made, that's the decision I shall live with, and I believe that John Terry, especially in the latter part of the season, has played very well. I know you're going to come back with me and say he shouldn't have done what he did at Barcelona, but I'm looking over a longer period than that. I think he's played well. I think he's played an important part in Chelsea's FA Cup final victory, an important part in their reaching the Champions League final. And so therefore I selected him because I think he's the man for the job. I'm hoping and believing that he'll help us win matches.
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and John Ruddy are the two uncapped players. Tell us what prompted you to pick them, Roy.
Well, I start with John, I suppose, who's a slightly more obvious one. And, you know, you all understand that we don't have so many English goalkeepers to choose from. But I think John's had an excellent season with Norwich. I think Norwich have had an excellent season. They've surprised everybody. They've really taken the Premier League by storm. He's been a very, very important player in that team. So when I was looking for someone to back up Joe Hart, who's the obvious number one, and Robert Green, the obvious number two, I turned to John Ruddy, and hopefully he's happy. I haven't spoken to him actually, but hopefully he's happy with that one. And with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, I think he's a very, very exciting player. He's given one or two performances which have made quite an impression upon me, not least of all when Arsenal played Milan at the Emirates Stadium, and I was there live and saw how well he dealt with Pirlo and Ambrosini in the centre of midfield. And the fact that he's that type of player who can play wide or play central also affected my decision, as well as, of course, the fact that for the future I think he's one we're going to be seeing a lot of if he can continue as he started.